What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now, Back to the Past. I'm Alex, and we're back again for another birthday. We're back again for another game haul. I use this as an opportunity, right? You get a year older, don't really feel any different. But, I have to really start stocking up, and this is a big theme you're going to see as I go through these games. PS4. PS4 seems to be kind of the era that I'm living in. There's a little bit of a mix and match, and you'll see kind of games from all over the place, but generally, and that's kind of how I'm thinking, I still have plenty of PS2, Xbox, PS3, 360. There's a lot of different generations that I still try to target. But a lot of these PS4 games, this was the era of digital and really where it started to get going. And this is where even my oldest collection, if you go back years before I really started picking up games, the PS4 and then subsequently PS5, Series X, Xbox One, very light. I did have some PS4 games, but that's the really big one that I'm trying to add to the collection. So, without further ado, let's go through this as we always do for these hauls. I think there's 15 games, okay? Got some discounts, got some I ordered from the same people, and all pretty good quality. We'll go through one at a time. There's one that I'm very much not happy with that we'll talk about when we get there. So, let's start with the first game. I'm actually playing this game right now behind the scenes, doing videos for all three of these games. Mafia, the Definitive Edition. Let's get a little bit closer. Really like it. And, it's got like the sleeve. And most games don't. In fact, it's the only game of these 15 that has the sleeve. But fantastic game. You'll have to wait till maybe late July. But we're going to do Mafia 1, 2, 3 on this channel. I'm halfway through this at the time of recording this video. And yeah, I just think, I have this game and this is a theme, I have this game digitally. I have the definitive collection, like 1 through 3. But I thought, all right, I don't think I actually own any, including like the original version of these. But really nice. It's this is a little used, the actual sleeve itself, but the actual case really, really good. I'd open it for you, but the disc actually is in the PS5, but really happy with that one. And that was just kind of like a spur of the moment type thing. All right, let's go to the worst one, which is very disappointing. So I originally got a different game. It didn't send for like 6-7 days. I canceled it, and I thought, all right, well, I'll just buy something of equivalent value. So this, they say the condition of this game was good, quote unquote good. I'm here to tell you it's not good, but I am very impressed with, the game itself. Now, here's the deal. Here's a couple things. Getting this not greatest hits is next to impossible. I think the only way you can do it that I found online is doing it like international, which would be similar price, but then it's like $25 to ship it over. And I've spoken out about that before. Like, is there anything inherently evil with getting a greatest hits? Not really. You do you and you get the games you want to get. But, in a collection, I try to go for like the original version, not the greatest hits version, next to impossible. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if you can see this, but this is destroyed. And let me just show you this. Come on. Look, this is a video showing off the game, not necessarily the box. But let me tell you something. If you see this, okay, you look at this, you look at the side. Would you say this is in good condition? Is this what your description would be of it? Fair. I think fair condition is what I would put it. Because, when you open it, it's got everything. It's got all of it in here, So fair, but not good. When would you ever consider something like this good? Anyway, regardless of the quality of the box itself, great games, the DLCs for GTA 4. I played them back in the day. I think my cousin, I had GTA 4, and I do, it's not on this this grouping. I've had GTA 4 for a very, very long time on PS3, and I played that through myself, and then my cousin, I think, I don't think I ever owned the DLCs myself, but they are great DLCs. I have played them, just not my own. So cool to have it, and kind of a deep cut, not everybody I think has this, and I think that speaks a little bit to the rarity of it. Again, greatest hits is kind of the only way to go with it, and then, then you get a thing like that. Okay, another PS3 one. This one I'm shocked, and you might be shocked too, depending on how well you know me, that you'd be surprised that I don't have this game already. I do have it digitally, but not physically. Pirates of the Caribbean. Lego Pirates of the Caribbean. Huge Pirates guy, as you may or may not know. I have At World's End, I want to say PS3 game. I own it, I think, 3 different ways. I think I have PS3, PS2, and one other. So, I love it. Those are kind of when I think of my childhood with Pirates of the Caribbean video games, I literally think to that At World's End game. But this is a great game. This is a game that I don't think I ever played all the way through. I don't like any of the 4 at the time, right? 4 movies. I don't think I ever played all the way through all 4 of them. But really, I really like this. Back's got a little Davy Jones action right there. So really cool. I think it was a PS Plus game at some point. Like, it's been around, and I have it digitally, like even owned digitally. Not a great game, okay? So Duke Nukem Forever. Now, a notorious and infamous, for maybe both reasons, game. You know, this was a game growing up or getting into gaming that was like kind of the first game with like what the F is going on with this game type game. You know, and I think nowadays there's plenty of those, right? We just lived through Gollum and that King Kong game and all of, you know, The Walking Dead, whatever, Saints and Sinners. But, you know, we've had a couple of them kind of in a row, like every year nowadays. But back in that PS3 360 era, just getting into it, you know, thinking every game is just the greatest game of all time, right? What's Prototype? What's MotorStorm? What's all this stuff? You know, I learn about this game that takes years and years and years to come out, and then it's absolute garbage, right? You know, Duke Nukem as a franchise is definitely more epic or more well known in a good way, but obviously this is not. But I thought this would be cool. You know, one day I will play. I don't really like to waste time, especially on this channel, playing trash games. There is some value to that. I've thought of playing Gollum. I've thought of playing Forspoken and seeing if I actually might like it. So I've thought about playing bad games, but you know, there's so many good games of the past that I feel, you know, I want this channel to be largely positive. I don't want to spend it playing just all negative, but I will play that. I will eventually play it. Maybe this is the last PS3 one. And this is kind of a deeper cut. I see people online, like on Twitter, talking about this game. Never owned it. I don't even think I've played it, but I definitely kept up with like Podcast Beyond at the time and knew of it. I knew of this game. Mod Nation Racers. A game that, by the way, very, very cheap. Like, this is very inexpensive to get online. People don't seemingly value it. Now, I think if there's multiplayer, it's network players. So the multiplayer's turned off, so maybe that hurts some of the value. But I don't know. I don't really have a lot to say of it other than I do know what it is. I remember it being kind of like probably more of like a critical darling, and the people that played it really liked it, but it just was never really given a chance on like a wider scale of individuals. But now I own it, and one day I will check that thing out. Okay, now these next 3, I would argue, are like just kind of correcting wrongs, right? Writing the past, and we got Star Wars Battlefront 2. So I'm just getting into, we have the resurgence, right? Battlefront 2 has the resurgence going on, so I thought, okay, I gotta get it physically. I have it digitally. I think I've put in like 150 hours into this game. A lot of time, but, you know, to have it physically, you know, we'll just go, I should have gone maybe in order, because celebrating its 10-year anniversary, I wanted to make a video on this one, or I will later on this year. We got Battlefront 1. So Battlefront 1, Battlefront 2. By the way, I mean, like, really nice covers. I think, like, for what this game became, I think I would have preferred that they went a little bit more epic. This one kind of has, like, a weird epicness towards it. You know what I mean? Oh, and by the way, in this one, technically, I don't know if this is, like, I own it. I think I have the Battle of Jakku thing, but it's on, or Jakku, depending on who you're listening to say it in the movie. Remember, they have no idea what they're doing in these films. But yeah, just have both of those games, righting those wrongs. Okay, next up, I did a video on this already. Some opinions have changed, some haven't. So this was kind of like Battlefront, where I wanted to get this physically, although the timing was kind of off. I didn't have it physically at the time I replayed it, but a classic, depending on what you think of classics. The Last was Part 2. What can you say that hasn't already been said? I will say it's a pretty epic, dark, you know, very, I mean, like, the light helps it, of course, right? Not like lighting darkness, but just, you know, it's an interesting cover. Let's just say that. But I mean, look, to have it physically, this was inexpensive. Like, this still I think can run you like $35 to get it. But, you know, I think I did it for Final Fantasy VII Remake. I got that physically after I already got it digitally. You know, it's a piece of gaming, and I do love a lot of this game and a lot of pieces of this game. And, you know, I had it digitally. I've played it twice through the digital, but, you know, to have it physical, and I legitimately forgot that it had it. It's got two discs. So I would say not too many PS4 games have 2 discs, and it's kind of like a blast from the past. Not that this actually both of them. So you got the Predator Hunting Grounds, well, a game actually I covered quite a bit originally on podcast now, and then if you remember, Ghost of Tsushima came out just a month after that. So, and the inside's pretty cool too. Ellie with the horse going through Seattle, pretty cool. I definitely like having it physically. Like, I think it's definitely worth. I think almost any game is worth having physical. So maybe it doesn't say that much, but I'm happy that I have it. Okay, next up, one that I continuously forget about that it exists on physical, and I think, oh my god, well, this is one of my favorite franchises, and I don't have this collection, let's call it, I guess, right? So Mass Effect Legendary Edition, got it when it originally came out digitally, played through all three. It was the first time I think I played 1 all the way through when I first got the Legendary Collection digitally, but 2 and 3, I've played them multiple times. Freaking love it. One of the greatest game trilogies of all time. People tend to pick, their favorites, and some people pick 1. 2 and 3 to me are just freaking elite. I know 3's got its issues, but yeah, so I don't know. I kind of forget. Like, because of Dragon Age and because of BioWare, sometimes I forget Mass Effect even exists. And then when I do remember it, I think to, 2 and 3. And I don't oftentimes think about the Legendary Edition. And then I forget that, they would even have done something like this physically. But just taking a look really, one more time, it's an amazing cover. Like this, or I'm going to go this way. Like this kind of sea kind of situation. Oh, my God, right? It's amazing. It's incredible. All right. This one, when I did, I think, Lego, I was trying to, I'll just tell you this, okay? I wanted to do more, Nickelodeon, the kind of PS2 era, collab crossover, when Danny Phantom would come in, all that stuff. I played a lot of those games back in the day through, renting stuff, but I don't have, and this is not that, but this is a very cheap one that I needed to add to the collection physically eventually. Oh, God, because it's yellow, this is going to look pretty weird, but there you go. It's actually very weird how the colors work on that, huh? That's very strange. But anyway, Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. I don't think I have it on PS2. I do think I put it in my, I hearted different people selling it on PS2 because I do want the original. I think the original, when he's kind of in the military outfit, I love it. I love that design. I think it's freaking awesome. So to have both of them will be cool. But I want to get, I don't think I have the Fairly Odd Parents game that I talk about actually quite a bit here and there. That kind of mid 2000s, 04, maybe I think that was around Battle for Bikini Bottom, 03 to 08, right? A lot of games fell into that. I want to get a lot of those games. So starting with one that was very, very cheap, to get a game like that. Okay, this one was actually labeled wrong. This one, it was a different name, but then this was the picture that they showed, and I actually wanted this one. I didn't want the name, so I was hoping that the mistake was the name and not the picture. Interesting kind of just backstory, but this is my favorite Dark Pictures game, okay? You got 4 of them. You're going to get Directive 8020. I don't know if I'm going to play this right away. I've already played all of these games, but I want to get all of them. I don't think I have any but this one, I'm pretty sure. I also don't think I have the Corey physical, so there's some things I have to fix, in my life, but I'm going to get those. But so this one, okay, this was labeled as Little Hope. I typed in House of Ashes, right, in the search engine. Type in House of Ashes, it pops up Little Hope, and then the picture of the person who took the picture of the game is this. So I say, okay, you can't possibly have the wrong game. If you're showing the game, that can't possibly be the thing that's wrong. It's got to be the name. You labeled it Little Hope, but you meant House of Ashes. So, and honestly, my preference, I think Little Hope is one of, if not the weakest, of all of these games. Maybe it's the second. I hated The Devil in Me, so maybe that one was the worst. Little Hope was second worst. I actually think this one is the best of the 4 by a lot, by a good margin. So I was very much hoping it was this. Okay, let's go through these 2 because they're connected. So my history with these franchises, or this franchise, is not all that deep. I don't even know which games I've played in the history of it, but it's one that I want to fix, and it's a one that you're not going to expect. I talk about certain JRPG franchises. This is not one of them, so I'll just show both at the same time. Okay, Need for Speed. Ones that Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remaster and Need for Speed Rivals. Never played either of them. I don't know, Hot Pursuit, did I ever play that back in the day? Maybe, but it's a franchise that I I do have great respect for, kind of. Like I don't know too much, but you know, the ones that I have played back in the day, like I've enjoyed them. I think they're fun racing games. I'm kind of a sucker for this stuff. You know, I've talked about games like MotorStorm. MotorStorm is probably my all-time favorite. Split Second, which I got physically a couple years ago, and I did that in a haul video. I love Split Second. Split Second is such an inventive racing game that's so freaking cool. Driver San Francisco, like I'm drawn to the ones that are not Forza and Gran Turismo. I can respect those. I think those have done great things, and they're very good games in their own right. But I'm more for kind of the action thriller, and then some of those games are very just different all in themselves. But yeah, I don't think I own any Need for Speed game physically or digitally, unless it's on PS Plus or Game Pass. I don't think I legitimately own a Need for Speed game. So I fixed that by getting 2 of them. Okay, 2 more, and I'm very happy with these 2. I think they're going to be quite interesting. So I don't think I've done a video on this by the time you're seeing this one. That might change. We'll see, but it's an interesting one. So, knack. So I wanted to do more platinum videos on this channel, okay? And depending on when you're watching this, like certain things might or may not have happened, but I came up with this idea a couple months ago in my head that I was going to play through Knack and platinum it. And I don't know why I chose Knack, but I think I do. It's because this is a weird game. You know, Mark Cerny, the genius that he is, led this, and I just don't think that was a greatest idea of all time. This game is not good. I played Knack 1 and 2. But you know, I have the same feeling that I think everybody online has the same feeling of, where it's like it's got that cult status of it's bad, but you kind of like lean into it, where you always are asking for a Knack 3, and you're always saying like, you know, like it's tolerable, but it's also kind of just a bad game. So I needed this. I needed Knack 1. I eventually am going to need Knack 2, and got to play through it. I did play through it back in the day. My friend rented it, and we went over, and we went through the whole game. Not a long game either, but want to platinum this game. I don't know why, I just chose it. And then this one, I have very great memories of, like, I know I had it. I don't remember too much of the game itself, but I definitely remember the cover, and it's an interesting franchise, and it's the last one of my entire haul, and it's a PS2 game. So here we go. Scooby-Doo, Night of 100 Frights. I mean, it's iconic. It's an iconic cover. Even the back, iconic. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like I said, I remember seeing this, like this cover, or I guess it'd be sticking like this, right? You know, and I remember seeing it all the time at like a renting type situation, and just, I don't know. I think it's a good game. I hope it's a good game. Every October on this channel, I do just horror games, and I think it's been fun the last 2 times I've done it. This year, this will be horror. By the way, I stretched the meaning, so this is gonna be one of those games. Halloween, you know, Halloween type spooky, or you know, whatever you want to say. I try to make those the 4 Halloween or October videos, and so this will be one this year. And I remember playing it. I think it's a good game. I've seen walkthroughs of it in the past, too, just to kind of remind myself. But we need more. By the way, we need more Scooby-Doo games. I think this is the greatest Scooby-Doo game they've ever made. They don't make many. They don't try very hard, but I think this is the best one. So there you go. Another year gone. I will return for Christmas, where I will try to get another haul of whatever games I end up getting. Let me know what you think. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.